Hello and welcome to the 69th, making sure that this thing's working. Welcome to the 69th episode of Rambling Weekly. Apologize for last week. I was not feeling the greatest. Feeling a bit better now. So, yeah. Let's get into it, I guess. I guess. Welcome back. That there tune, I'm totally taking notes because I will not remember half this stuff. This is all from the album that Reime, which is, I think there's like three of them or something. This one's the first one. Came out in 2011. Oh boy, Comic Cat 80, because there's some notes and everything for it. But that tune there is, what is it? Hana no Utsurutsuka, which is the mound that reflects the flowers. The mound where the flowers reflect. I'd probably, yeah. The mound where the flowers reflect would be probably a better way to put that. I guess I don't take that good of notes. Anyways, the one there is done by Phoenix Project. Now, Phoenix Project and somebody else did work on this, and is yeah. But main heavy lifting goes to Phoenix Project on this one, and yeah, good tune. Good tune to start with. I don't know anything about Toho other than Zune made some great and still makes great music, and a lot of people like it at the end. That's all I got. Yeah, so how's everybody doing? Hopefully people are doing well. I had a still kind of have it to some degree. Maybe it is trying to like burst through my chest and then kill me that way. But I had an ear infection kind of slowly roll down my throat, and yeah, made it a bit difficult to talk. I still can't even not that I can sing well, but I still can't even really sing. Sing even in the level or the tone I am used to singing. My voice just gives out. Like it just goes, yeah, you ain't doing that. Nope. And then I'll do it in the car or when I'm out driving and walking. But yeah, it just is like, nope, absolutely not happening. Or I might get like a note and then it just kind of just goes away. So, yeah, so that's fun. I can't sing at a deeper register now, which is kind of funny. I would have like, yeah, just like that. Like, I don't know. What else has been going on? So yeah, that's why I didn't have. I just wasn't able to get to a spot. Like Sushi and I still recorded something a couple days later, like a day later or so, and I think it was starting to hit a point where I was like, man, I'm dying, help me. Not so bad, but what else has been going on? The fervor for Tears of the Kingdom has petered out a bit. Not that I dislike it, but it is what I thought it was, in the sense of how I would feel with it. Kind of similar with like Morrowind or something, is that there is a quick crescendo of really enjoying, and then it sort of like it's just too much. Like I don't need I really don't need to be able to explore over every single mountain that I can climb on, kind of thing. It's like you get to a point where it's like, okay, I get it. I mean, it's fun, and you can make some silly things with it, and it's neat to a degree, but then it's just there's just too much for my tastes, and it seems like the fervor for it has not quite sustained itself, because it is probably too much like Breath of the Wild. I think if they had, and it's not that they didn't add in more, but I think if they had just gone somewhere else and yanked it out of Hyrule, and I mean, I kind of think of these two almost in a way of like 1 and 2, like the original Zelda and the second one, too, in the setting and stuff like that. But 2, you went exploring to a whole bunch of different places, and you don't really do that. You don't do that so much. I think that's to its detriment, because I think people are like, oh, it's really great. It's more Breath of the Wild. But Breath of the Wild's been around for a handful of years, and people have certainly played that to bits and pieces. So to get something that's maybe way too familiar, it's kind of, I think it is having some of the issues that like people who back in the day would kind of cast towards the serialed Final Fantasies, like 4, 5, and 6. 7, 8, and 9. It's like, well, there's not really much of a difference here. Your ATP or ATB, all-time battle bar, whatever, active time bar. There we go. Something of that sort is just not. There's not enough freshness to it, so we're a little not skeptical, not miffed, just wanting a little bit more, and it's not there. So I don't know. That I've been editing a good deal. So I mean, I've got to pick it up. I'm picking it up from where I had been a little in a rut throughout the month of May for a sizable portion. Not all of it, but a sizable portion of it. So it's nice to get back into that groove. And other than it just being a rut, I don't know. Zelda kind of derailed it for a moment, for probably about a week. But before that, it's just kind of, it's just totally on me. And it's not to say that the Zelda thing is, I can't just be like, oh, the game came out, it's all the game's on. No, it's totally on me. But I'm hitting a better stride with that. So that editing is coming along. So that is nice. That's really about it. There's been some stuff I wanted to do, and I just really haven't. Like, I'm doing this recording kind of begrudgingly so. Not that I don't want to do it, because I do want to get back into the editing, but it's like, I know today, I worked like 12 hours. Tomorrow may not be as long, but I might have something afterwards that I'm doing. So it's kind of like, I've got to try to juggle this, because I know if I do something tomorrow, there's a good chance I wouldn't record. Because then, and then I would mess things up, and then it'd be like, oh, I got to delay it. It's like, no. The line must be drawn here. And that is where I draw it. Anything else been going on? Not really. Warm. That's about it. It's almost June. That's I guess something. I would say it's kind of wild, but it's honestly not. Like, for a very long time, and I was warned about this from my father about how time speeds up and stuff. And I think part of that is in letting it get away from you. Like, I know some other people, and this will kind of tie into the topic, because some younger people have said, "Oh yeah, it just kind of zips on by." And I think it does if you, not necessarily that you do the same things, but instead you don't like force things into the schedule. Not to say that you should like go like maniac and just kind of detail. Oh yes, for 3 hours we're gonna do this for the this and this and this. I think in the sense of, oh, you certainly work will. I kind of luck out in that work will be a little bit of a fluctuation. Like some days it'll be like, oh, I'm only working 6 hours today, or sometimes it's only five. But oh, like today it was pretty much 12 hours. Um, but you have to, like, that'll certainly play a part into it to some degree. But then it's like, oh, you have the beats and the rhythms, and then all of a sudden, oh well, it's the weekend, I'm going to do something, instead of like trying to wedge something in during the week, which I get can be hard because of either finances or just having the energy to do so. um I think it's kind of helped me with like the editing and stuff. It's like I force it to where it's like, okay, we're going to spend some time here and doing this. I don't feel like it doesn't feel like the days go by that quickly. What goes really quickly? Sleep. Sleep goes really fast for me. I close my eyes, and then before I know it, they are open, and it has been however long I sleep, 6 to 8 hours, and it's usually six to 6.5. And it's like, hey, time to get up. It's like, okay, I am up. Um, yeah, I get. It doesn't, and I think that's at least for me is what's worked. Yeah, I do that. I don't let it slip through my fingers as best as I can. It's like an eggshell that's kind of oozing out. It's like, no, get it back in there. It's like, you can't put the egg back together, but you save as much of the yolk as possible. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just um, it is not. I where I was getting with that. It's like, okay, yeah, it's June, so it's almost 5 full months have passed by. But honestly, yeah, I don't really feel like it has been that. Like the last 3 months in particular have felt not like it's screeched to a halt or anything, but it has hit a good rhythm and a good beat that, at some point either it's gonna quicken or it will screech to a halt and be like, so we'll see. So, that's it for the I guess how you doing part. So we're gonna take a break and then we'll get into the topic. So stick around. Welcome back. That there is. I need to bring up the title. It helps if I have the title so I can read the title. Yeah, Nishoku Rengocho, Dichromatic Lotus Butterfly. That one's another one done by you, or Phoenix Project, and I like how it starts, and it's a quick start. It almost gives me a like something from like, old school Bond, or just like a spy sort of vibe for a moment, and then it kind of starts adding in a bit, and then there's a part I don't even know what the like higher pitched sort of instrument synth sort of thing that comes in, and it just kind of goes a little wild on itself, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, But yeah, the topic for this episode, and I have a whole different thing of what is it, Google Docs of topic ideas and stuff. And what I wrote for this one, thinking why so old, is why do so many people I run into seem to be so downtrodden, so lethargic? And it's like their spirits seem very worn down. There's a lot of like a defeatism kind of going on, or maybe not even defeatism, but give upism sort of thing. I find it very odd. I know Slade and I have kind of talked about it a little bit, just because of Slade's situation, but and also just the age thing. There's some different streamers that if I have them on the background or something, if I'm just kind of doing cleaning or something, that I've noticed, or just people I work with or people I run into that, I don't know, people I have worked with, it's just this very, just sort of lethargy that gets broken every now and again to do something fun, but then it's almost like it kind of slides back into it, like the creature of habit sort of thing. This almost demure in a way kind of acquiescence to kind of let life slide by. And I don't know if to pinpoint it as, yeah, because I've sometimes see the memes of all the boomers going, why are the kids like this way? And then the kids are like, well, the planet's all being destroyed, blah 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 blah. And to me it's a bit of a, like, I get the concerns of of all the wonderful problems that face us, but I think that should color in the mindset, or the concern that the mindset paints of, we have all these problems, I'm just giving up. I'm either going to quote unquote get mine, I'm just going to ride the bomb, Doctor Strange love style, straight to hell kind of thing. And that, not try to do anything or what have you. And there's certainly elements of that. It's like, say for example, trying to cut on, let's say like pollution on a personal level. It pales in comparison to the pollution of what a jumbo jet puts out. So, the efforts that one makes on that sort of scale versus what the jet does, it's kind of like it's like trimming a blade of grass when the whole yard still needs mowed, kind of thing. People might see that as kind of fruitless, and then it's like, well, I do this, but these other people aren't doing this, so it kind of doesn't play out. So to me, that's a similar thing of kindness. It's like, if and I think this is something not even just societally, but just like we as people struggle with in a couple different angles. One, the karmic style. Like, I'm not a big fan of karma. I was having this conversation with my dad the other day, and he was very upset about these individuals that had A, wasted his time, B, really kind of did a wrong for what he was hoping to do for like this business kind of thing. And he had a bit of schadenfreude talking about their current situation. And then he was like, well, yeah, it doesn't matter, because whatever that is, they'll get their karmic comeuppance kind of thing. And I'm like, that's not a healthy way to look at it. B, that's, I'm not a component. I'm not a supporter of the karmas. If it were like that, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the idea of, if there is an incentive to do something good, then are you really doing something good? I guess that's kind of my question. Like, uh, to me, I think, and maybe, of course, you can kind of color and shade these things in different gradients, but to be like, I don't know. To me, if you are doing something good with the ill intent, that's not fair. Doing something good with the idea that you will get good in return, I don't see that as doing good. You're just trying to better your situation. And that's not to say that that's not a good thing, but it's certainly a greedy thing to be like, oh, I do this good thing so that I can get good in return. To me, that's kind of skewing into a greed. Um, oh boy! Oh my gracious! That is a long thread. Lovely. Um, where was I even going with that? Oh, but in similar, like doing a kindness, it is to do a kindness. Um, it's not very well incentivized because A, people take advantage of it. B, they can see how people who possibly do kindness, but then see like the dark sides of it where they're doing a kindness, but it's because they're getting some sort of clout or um, getting paid on the back end sort of thing. Um, and I don't know. I feel like it gets people tired. I think the big thing of why people feel so tired and so down, um, I think part of it's the social media in the sense of there is always a constant ability to interact, or if not interact, to be made aware of all sorts of things going on. And you're just inundated with all that information. And kind of similar to like lifting weights, like our brain, and like as a species, really wasn't meant to handle everything on that front. It's not and some people are able to succeed with that, and others are just not able, or either not able to, or unwilling to, or just don't like the game so much. I think a part of it as well is that there's too much like vicarious living. So, and I've made my complaints about, oh, playing games to satiate going like for an adventure, and I get that it can be difficult or just impossible to do so for whatever the situation is. Um, but the like vicarious living through others on just anything and everything, and instead of just even we don't cherish the mundane, or we cherish it in a only if we can like film it. Like I see, because I see these things on like what that what is it, the things that people on Instagram, like I'll put pictures up on there and then I'll kind of scroll for a couple minutes here and there, and I don't get it. Like there's a lot of times, and maybe it's just because it just keeps showing me these, and because I scroll through them and stuff, and I'm just dumbfounded to see it. Like what is this going on? But there'll be things pretty common when I see is like people playing tic tac toe, but they're like adding in extra steps, and it just baffles me that people are like, yes, let's, and it's like, no, let's not do that. Or maybe it just, you know, very, very young me is jealous to have never thought of doing it that way. I don't know. I never, it's just a weird thing. But, so our focus gets kind of drawn to these things, and we only have so much focus. You only have so much juice in the battery, the old brain cells, before it gets tapped out. And either we try to push beyond that or whatnot. And I think that sort of thing, plus like whatever foods and drinks we ingest, all of that, all of what we experience, is having this detrimental effect of just aging people. And I know I've gone into it a little bit before as well. I think with the what is it, Devil in the Machine episode, and I think that plays a part into it as well, of just a people's growing old, but there's not a decoupling like there's, where in previous generations you were able to, you'd have that division. Now everything kind of gets thrown into a muddled mess where there isn't so much of a division generationally. So I mean, there is to some degree, but it's not as prominent anymore, especially with the anonymity, whatever's left of it, of the internet, as well as just the, just the ability to mix and match with people when it comes to things like YouTube or Twitter or Instagram or TikTok and all those sorts of fun things. It's made this bit of a muddled mess where things just kind of they age out. I mean, there's been some articles and stuff I've seen of, they're talking about, the newest generation is really stepping away from, they're kind of stepping back into old technology kind of things, because they're seeing the bad effects on generations, which would be kind of a neat thing to see. It'd be very interesting to see, but the damage has already been done. there is no easy. It's, to me, it's kind of similar to the idea that anything, I guess, in like a cultural sense, in a generational sense, once the damage has been done, you can't just undo it to be back to where you were. That's gone. Like that, whatever that was, that's gone, and not just simply because of the situational thing. But I think of like just the collective spirit of a people. If that gets broken, that's not you don't. It is not an easy thing to put back together. It takes a time and something to galvanize. Kind of similar to like with wood. You burn it to harden the ends of it, so you make the pointy ends be able to stick. There needs to be that catalyst, and you can't just be like, oh, let's all get together. So unfortunately, until there is that galvanizing moment, we're kind of just stuck in this murky mess, this wonderful soup of trouble, until the bomb blows, until whatever horrible things. And certain areas are certainly dealing with all sorts of horrible troubles, but because there's such a large degree of separation, and not just simply the physical sense, but also in the like, hey, stop doing this, or hey, stop doing this, or hey, do this. It's yeah. Until there's a galvanizing moment, I think we are in for a wonderful slippy slide to wherever that goes. Woo! But I think that also means that there's probably until the millennial generation and the one right after that, what's the Zoomers, Generation Z, until they've kind of been shuffled off, and even then it'd probably take a generation or two. And what'll probably happen is after the following one, it'll get into the chaotic mess of just unknown. There's just the wild child syndrome, and then after that, who knows? You kind of I don't know, throwing darts, but I think there's just going to be this agedness that will probably stick around, because there isn't a good level of guidance, from previous generations, like from the millennials, from Generation X, from the boomers, the boomer menace, if you will. Um, I think part of it's the problem is that the like with boomer, particularly like Gen X, like my parents, they're like on the cusp. They're kind of in that super late boomer slash super early Gen X, and there's that like hands off approach, very kind of hippie sort of thing, a very independent attitude that doesn't quite translate well. Uh, uh, because you get either the hyper vigilant helicopter parents, because it's like, hey, I know what kind of idiot I was when I was this way. I'm not allowing this, as opposed to the whatever, it'll all work itself out. And instead of, I don't know, I think, at least like in my case, like the complete hands off approach kind of makes you feel a lot older. And it's just kind of like, oh, and maybe there's a lot more of that. Maybe that are just the anxiety of being like helicopter parent. It just made people old all around, and just like, and then yeah, they just can't take the phone off the hook and disappear for a while, to borrow a line from Vienna by Billy Joel. But it's just not nearly as possible anymore. I mean, it is. You just kind of don't answer the phone, don't look at it. It doesn't exist. It's not ringing. I'm surprised it hasn't rang once. Is this a new era? Am I not going to be pestered? This would be amazing. Anyways, I don't know. There's a lot of different reasons for it, but hopefully people can get out of the malaise of lethargy and find something to invigorate that spirit. Because, like I said, it's a very hard thing. Because even just to have it to begin with seems like a hard thing, and then to have it get snuffed out and then rekindle it, but to kindle it to begin the first time is kind of hard thing to do. I don't know where I'm going with this. I wanted to do something else entirely, but I'm like, this week is coming to an end very quickly, and I'm not gonna have anything, but I must have something. So you could say I am doing my homework last minute. Whatever. Ha 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 ha. Anyways, we're going to take a break and then get into a quote and then be on our merry way. So, stick around. Welcome back. That tune there is Oriental Dark Flight, and I just like how it, just the sound of it. That's the start. Like the sound is really neat, but also how the tension is there from the get go, and it just kind of keeps it there. For some people, it might seem a little too repetitive. I can see how that could come to be, But I don't know. I like it. And then when it finally goes, it's like, yeah. And then it kind of goes back into it. And then when it goes again, it's like, double, yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, the one I got today, very short, from Socrates here, and that is beware the barrenness of a busy life. And I figured that that would be a good one to bring up for this episode, because yeah, I think that I think that's part of why it feels like time may fly, is that it is, and I say in one hand, do the, don't neurotically make the schedule, but don't slide into just kind of being lethargic as well. It's more of be spontaneous to a degree. Sure, you want to have those things in there to be like, oh, do this, do this, do this, do this. Got to get this done. Like with editing, I have to chip some time away from the day to do that. Otherwise, it'll never get done. But in the same hand, even if it is only for like 15 minutes, take 15 minutes and I can fit it with the keyboard. Or I could go and do exercises. I was doing some of those like Turkish get-ups or whatever, where you hold the kettlebell or a weight, and that thing was kicking my butt. But just things like that. Go for a walk. Take 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Go for a walk. Doesn't have to go anywhere except for maybe back home. You want to get back home, but yeah, just like I said, beware the barrenness of a busy life, because I feel like I think it's also why people probably feel old in two different directions. They busy themselves by just doing nothing, whether that's watching TV or playing games, or doing like, oh, I've got to go out, and it's just kind of running to catch up to themselves, kind of thing. Or they're I'm working, I'm doing a project, I'm writing, I'm editing, what have you. And I think, yeah, you just gotta leave a little space for those. That's why I like it with do the Instagram thing. Like I do it, but I do it because like I'll just randomly take pictures of clouds, or like sometimes birds. If the birds are cooperating, not very often, but just odds and ends here. Less about sharing and being in the sense of, oh, hey, look at this, and it's more like, this is neat. I'll share it when yeah. So that's all I got. I don't know. The end. So the last tune here is Shoujo Hifu Club, or Girls' Secret Stealing Club, and not like beating you with the club, not a bludgeon sort of thing, but like a group, a fraternity, a sorority, I guess in this case. But yeah, that is going to be the ending outro tune. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one to go out on too. As for that, yeah, you give whatever sort of comments you want, even if it's not even about the topic. I hope you're doing well. So enjoy your day, weekday, weekend, night, everything else in between. Thanks for listening, watching, or whatever you're doing. Maybe we just got like a psychic link together, so you're giving us a guess a couple days early. So yeah, that's it. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next week. Bye. See ya. All that sort of fun chat. Take care.